Hi, this is David Worth, Director of Photography on Bloodsport and Director of Kickboxer.
Hi, my name is Frank Dukes. Some of you might recognize my name from the movie Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme portrays me in the movie.
Hello, everyone. This is Ernie Reyes Sr., the star in Surf Ninjas, and I played the character as Zatch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ernie Reyes Jr. from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Cowabunga, dude.
Hello, this is Dennis Chen, again from Kickboxer.
This is Sarah McMahon, UFC Women's Fighter.
This is Mohamed Kisi, alias Don Po, in the movie Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Hi, this is Tony Luke Jr., a.k.a. Joey the Nail Nardone.
Hi, I'm Don the Dragon Wilson, also known as Jake Ray from Blood Fist.
Hello, this is Haskell Von Anderson III. I was Winston Taylor in the movie Kickboxer. You're listening to Justin Ray Harvey. Justin Ray Harvey's life is a different culture. It's a different world. You better come to terms with that, or you won't last a heart.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Rothrock, the Lady Dragon, and you're listening to Justin Harvey on the Justin Harvey Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Justin Harvey Show. You wanted it, you asked for it, so I delivered. This morning I have a very special guest who I actually talked about during my interview with Don the Dragon Wilson. I would like to welcome Cynthia Rothrock to the show. Welcome, dear.
Thank you.
And how are things this morning?
Oh, things are really great. I'm finally recovering from shooting the martial art kid, and then from there I went to Pennsylvania to the Legends of the Martial Art, and then from there I went to Berlin. So I'm finally home, and home for a little bit at least anyway, so I'm feeling great.
Awesome. Yes, I know that you go to the Martial Arts Hall of Fame quite a bit because I saw a film where Master Ken was really busting your chops during his speech. So.
Oh yeah, right. That was I think 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm actually going back to the same Hall of Fame. I believe like next weekend.
oh wow. So just beware if Master Ken's there. You know he's going to say something. So.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. I think he's a funny guy.
Absolutely. I've actually had him on the show as well. My first question for you, Cynthia, is before you got into acting, how did you get into the whole martial arts aspect?
Well, I started when I was 13, and one of my best friends, their parents were studying Tung Sudo at the Scranton Karate School, and I would watch them practice, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. Being so young, I thought, I like the uniform. I'd like to get a karate belt, and they said, well, come along. We'll take you to our class, and you can try it. So that's what started it.
Oh, wow. And so eventually you decided to jump into acting, or?
Yeah, well, I was, by the time I started acting, I was world champion in forms and weapons, and basically my goal was to do this 5 years in a row, which is basically competing about 40 times a year, and be undefeated in 5 years and then retire. So that's where my mind was focused, but during my 4th year of competition, almost the ending of it, I went on an audition that Yun Kuei and Sammo Hung were looking, actually they were looking for a guy. They were looking for a guy to be the new kind of Bruce Lee. And I was on the West Coast demonstration team, and they said, okay, well, shall we bring the girls? And they said, yeah, you can bring them, but they're not really looking for a girl. So I went down there, and after I had to do some forms, self-defense, weapons, they said, we're going to go with the girls. So they signed me up. So it was kind of something that I wasn't really focused on doing, and I thought, this is going to be a great experience. I'll do one movie. I'll go to Hong Kong. Maybe I'll be on a poster. I could tell my kids someday, hey, look, your mom was on a poster in a movie, And I didn't really know that my career would lead into that. And then I shot the movie during the 5th year of my competition, and I didn't want to get rid of that goal, so I would compete. I would go to Hong Kong, be on the set, fly to Minneapolis, compete, go back to Hong Kong, fly to Texas. So I did that. I was able to achieve that goal. And then from that point on, I thought, okay, well, I'm not competing anymore. Maybe I can do movies because I love this and I had fun. So that transitioned into an acting career.
I would have loved to have seen you work with David Carradine.
Yeah, well, I was in a movie with him, but unfortunately, we weren't in too many scenes together. He was in Martial Law, I believe, part 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, part 1. And we were in the ending scene, but it was very small. But the good thing is that we eventually ended up becoming really good friends. So, and then I did a movie with him too in Spain. I think it was called Bite the Bullet, but it wasn't an action picture, and I just did an acting role.
Awesome, and I wanted to say that you did an excellent job on No Retreat, No Surrender too. I watched that the other day, and that was just spectacular. I didn't like how they killed off your character though, but I know. Yeah. It's
amazing, that I feel like really blessed that people could look back at these films that were shot 20 years or so ago, and still like them. Because, they're not really outdated because the action was so good.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, I'm very excited that you and Don are working together on the Martial Arts Kid. I think it's going to be, once it's released, I think it's going to be a big hit. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we all just had the greatest time doing it. The crew, James Wilson, Cheryl Wheeler, the producers were amazing, and they're my friends. So, how great is that to do a project and be on set every day with these people that you really love and be with, And our cast, I thought the cast was perfect. Our director was so easy and great to work with. It was just, it was one of those experiences that you're like, it has to be a good film because everything just worked.
And I believe you climbed Mount Everest, I think. Was it Mount Everest?
Yes, I did. I'm always looking for extreme challenges, and we actually went to base camp, which is about 19,000, just a little bit under 19,000 elevation. And it took us 2 weeks to do it, and it was a lot tougher than I imagined. It was probably out of all the extreme adventures, I don't know if I'm going to top that one, but it was definitely a challenge and something that I'm really proud that I was able to do, because it doesn't matter what kind of condition you're in when you're trekking 12 hours a day uphill in high altitude. It's not that fun. It was freezing. I was getting altitude headaches. And you're kind of walking at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
But now I look back on, boy, what an amazing thing to have done.
Now, when you first started, Cynthia, on acting and martial arts, was there a point to where nobody really took you serious because you were a woman? Do you think?
I wouldn't say nobody took me serious. I would say there was a point when nobody wanted to put me as the lead. I was always the co-lead, like the girlfriend of the guy that would come in and save the day in the end. I would fight, but I never could be the main hero. And then people started going, well, you know what, yeah, she's pretty good. Maybe she could hold a movie of her own. And then I can't remember what the first movie I did when I was the lead. It might have been China O'Brien, but China O'Brien didn't come out for a bit. And then people started going, oh, yeah, she could do it, so then I became, the top person, because but there was a little period in the time there where there was like, well, maybe women can't really sell a film, and then I kind of experienced that a little bit in Hollywood, I mean, to this day, I still haven't, been in, in a big fight scene in a big movie, which I would still, an A-listed movie, which I would still love to do, and I'm hoping, that could happen. But nowadays, I don't think that is around. Now I think it's just like, hey, good action is good action. Doesn't matter who's doing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just thinking because back then those times were really tough. Back in those days. That's why
really was.
So, because I mean, times are really changing. I mean, this generation has changed, and because see, I grew up in the '80s and '90s, so. Yeah,
well, see, too, even in competition, when I competed, I always had to compete in a weapons division against men. They didn't have a women's division then, and when I went, for grand champion, I always competed in the men's grand champion, and today, they have women's weapons separate, and they have women's grand champion, and I was like, wow, I never had that.
Oh, wow. And you've worked with Benny the Jet as well, right? Correct?
Yes, I have. Yes, I worked on a couple projects with Benny.
I hear he's a wonderful guy. So.
Benny is one of those people that he's a great soul. He's like, not only is he extremely talented, but when you meet him, you like him right away. He's one of those people that you just know by looking at him that this is a good person.
So take my audience through a typical day for you. What is a typical day for Cynthia Rothrock?
Well, a typical day, it depends on the day, but normally, let's say, on average, I get up about 5:30 every day. I take my daughter to school. Then I go work out. Then I usually do errands. Then I pick her up from school, and we come home, and then I take her to dance. I'll take my dogs for a walk, and then maybe I'll do some work at night on the computer. I'm kind of a late night owl, so I kind of stay up late. So that's when I get my work done, and that's kind of a typical weekday. On weekends, I like to do something, a little more fun, like doing a hike or, paddle boarding or doing something sporty. I travel quite a bit, but if I'm not traveling, that probably pretty sums up what my day is like. And, I do put in, like, occasionally we'll go see a movie or go to a theme park, which I like to do, something like that. But on average, that's kind of basically, what I do.
Yeah, what was your biggest influences, Cynthia?
I think my biggest influences when I was growing up was Jackie Chan. I used to study with Shum Leong in New York City, and after class every day we would go to Chinatown, see a movie, and then eat. And I would see the Jackie Chan movies, and I was just, like, amazed by him. I would remember moves that he did and go home and try to do them, because the thing that I liked about him is that he would take any kind of apparatus, that he could find and use it as a weapon. And I love that. So he kind of was my inspiration as I was growing up. I guess, and even today, he still is.
And I've actually read somewhere where he's actually broke every bone in his body doing what he does.
I'm sure he has, because shooting in Hong Kong is very tough. It's almost as tough as climbing up to base camp at Everest, because they have you doing such hard action, and it's real, and there's always that danger that you're going to get hurt, which if you do movies in Hong Kong all the time, you do end up getting hurt, almost something on each picture.
Because every place is different when it comes to filming. So
that's true. That is true.
So, I mean, you've done a lot in your career, Cynthia, and it's 2014 now. What's your goals or expectations? I mean, you've done a lot in your career.
Well, I think, at one point a couple years ago, I was going to open up a martial arts studio again, and then the movies started coming back. I find like the movie cycle goes, it's really popular action pictures, and then it's slow, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of people that want to do movies, and all of a sudden it started to come on the uprise. So I put the karate school idea off, which I do think eventually at some point I will open it, but now I'm focusing on doing films. I have another project that's about to start that's called The Perils Penelope Peacock, and that is right now we're on Indiegogo, like trying to raise the financing. Like we raised some of our financing for the Martial Art Kid, so I think it's a great way to get people involved in the picture and also get financing for your film. And I'm looking forward to this part because it's so different than anything I've ever done. It's really going to be a big acting role for me, and the action is going to be incredible because the fight scenes all come in her mind that she's dreaming. So you could go off the top. It's almost like I think about it like drawing a comic. You know, you could do that. And I'm also actually we've been working for 10 years on a comic book series. I think we're going to do a graphic novel, Sin, the Last Angel. So that is in the plans to get that done within the year, and you know what? I still want to travel and do some fun stuff. My next trip is in January, going to Norway to do some glacier trekking and also see the aurora borealis, which I have never seen and I've always wanted to see. So I guess right now that's kind of what I'm foreseeing for the future.
Oh, amazing! Now, do you do seminars as well, or?
I do a lot of seminars. That's what I was doing in Berlin. I probably do about a seminar a month, and I love doing this because, you know what, deep inside I am a martial artist and I love teaching. And this has been a great, opportunity for me. It's also given me a way to travel to different places. I do a lot of seminars in Europe, and I meet so many incredible people that have become my friends, that I think doing the seminars all over the world has been something I really, again, am blessed to do because it's just, amazing experience for me to teach, to meet new people, and to sightsee as well.
And Cynthia, how do you feel about meeting people, how do you feel about, like, social media, like Facebook and Twitter? Because I know for me, it has opened up a lot of doors for me and the show because I've talked with a lot of movie stars this year. I mean, this has been the best year for my show, actually.
Oh, great. Well, you know what? I'm all for Facebook. I agree with you that it's a great means to. For me, I get a lot of work for seminars because people see. Usually, I'm kind of known for posting a lot of pictures of what I do, and it's just because I like it, because I know that the fans out there, the friends out there, really like to see what you're doing, and they appreciate that you take the time, out of your busy day to think about them and show them what you're doing. And through this, I get a lot of people saying, wow, we'd like her to come and do a seminar. So to me, that has been my greatest asset, to get seminars, all over the world. I have a Twitter account. I haven't really worked it that much because I mostly stay on Facebook, but I know I have to do it. And it's funny, my daughter just set up an Instagram for me, and she's like, "You're not on Instagram?" And I'm not going to tell you the funny name that she put for me, but I'm like, okay, got to change that. So basically, I definitely think social media helps everyone, whether it's business related or actually staying in contact with people or making, some new friends. I've met a couple people, through Facebook that have really become really, really good friends, so, definitely, I think it's such an asset in today's world, in many aspects.
And I'd like to comment on something, Cynthia. I'm surprised, Frank Dukes is my martial arts teacher, and I've followed his career, my whole life, but it surprises me that you two have not worked on a film together or done something together.
Exactly. Well, it's funny because at the Legends Hall of Fame in Pennsylvania, I was sitting with Frank, and he was talking about a project that he has that he wants to include me in, his next project, and hopefully you'll see that. You'll see Cynthia and Frank Dukes together doing a film. I think Frank is amazing. He's such a great guy, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's funny. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but he's a really, really funny guy. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it comes about that that he he gets his project off the ground, and we could act together. Yeah,
because I've always wanted to see something like that. Because I've always asked myself that, why is Frank and Cynthia not work together? I mean, because you've worked with Dawn quite a bit too, so that just boggles my mind. And maybe like in 2015, maybe that would be great.
Well,
you know?
I'm hoping. Yeah, that would totally be amazing.
So, and it'd be a big hit, I believe, too. So
yeah, I think so.
So if you had to pick a favorite martial arts film, what's your favorite?
Oh, I'd have to say it's still Enter the Dragon. I still love that film. I love the characters in it. I like the story, you know. So I think that's still, it's a classic, and that still like is probably my top martial arts film.
Wow, that's amazing, because what's funny is I actually took a little bit of music from that film and put it behind Don's personal promo that he actually recorded for me. So that's amazing. So
that is funny.
Yeah, and Bolo was excellent in that film as well. And then you have the late great Jim Kelly that just passed away.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It was just for its time. It was such a great idea, you know.
What's your opinion on remakes of films? I mean, because I see Hollywood going crazy with this nowadays. They got to remake this and remake that. What's your thoughts?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think sometimes a remake works and sometimes it doesn't. You know. I think maybe if you can improve it, I'm all for it. But sometimes these old movies, these classics, it's like leave what is alone. Like, you know, like the Charlie's Angels series, you know, like it's like sometimes it's really, if you're going to do a remake, you have to make sure it's going to be better. And if it's not, you have to leave it alone. Like one of the things Richard Norton and I talked about is doing a remake of China O'Brien, you know, because we were just starting out then. We didn't really know acting well. It was a popular film throughout the world, and we thought, you know, how great that would be to do it now in a modern day and do it a little bit more edgy, you know, a little more, you know, darker. But it's really hard to get the rights for it.
Yeah, exactly. And what kills me, Cynthia, about remakes is a couple months ago, my little nephew, he's like 6 years old, and he says, "Unky, I saw the Karate Kid." And, you know, here I'm thinking, you know, great, you know, and he was telling me about Jackie Chan and, you know, Jaden Smith, and I'm like, buddy, that's not the original. Unky's going to have to show you the original Karate Kid.
Right. I mean, I guess the good thing is that, yeah, to show the original is that some of these movies are so old that, you know, the generation of today doesn't even know or see them. Like, you know, for someone to redo Enter the Dragon, that'd be kind of hard, you know, to do.
Now, Cynthia, do you know Ernie Reyes Jr. or Sr.?
Yes, I do. I know both of them. I used to train on the West Coast demonstration team. When I moved from Pennsylvania to California, I moved out to San Jose because of them, and I was training at their school, and I was on the demonstration team. Actually, that's what I was doing before I left to go to Hong Kong to shoot Yes, Madam.
Wow, that's amazing. They're both, I got to tell you, Cynthia, for me, they're both genuine great people, both of them.
Oh, yes, they are. You know, and I think, you know, just in general, most martial artists are, you know, because I guess it's just an integrity, you know, that comes with all that training, and, you know, you're helping people, you know, and it just helps you to become a better person, you know, and I just think I haven't met too many martial art, you know, people that have been successful that are not, you know, the nicest people around.
And with me, you know, I'm more old-styled when it comes to martial arts, but what's your thoughts on MMA? I mean, you know, I don't take anything away from MMA. I'm just more old-style. To me, martial arts is the old style.
You know what? I agree with you. I like watching MMA, but I do think, someone has to go through traditional martial arts training. I think that if you are pretty efficient in your martial arts, like say you're close to black belt, brown belt, I think it's a great asset to learn some ground fighting, if you get down on the ground. But as far as people just doing MMA and not doing the traditional aspect, I still think, I remember I had a conversation with one of my friends once, and he turned all pro MMA and kind of just lost all the traditional martial arts. Oh, but this works. And I says, well, okay, would you take your wife and put her in an MMA class right away and for self-defense? He goes, no. I said, what would you do? Well, I would teach her how to do a palm strike to the nose. And I'm like, exactly. My point made. You have to know traditional martial arts, first, and then use that as a supplement.
I totally agree because, some of these fighters think, that martial arts is just getting in a cage and beating up people and making money and then going home. And that's not what it's about.
Sure. Right, exactly. And for me, I'm always going to be a traditionalist, forever.
Same here, because if not, I could see Frank kicking my butt, from West Virginia all the way to Seattle. So, because Frank is very, very serious about his martial arts. He's a big goof, but when it comes to his martial arts, it's like he has a switch. He's all serious. He's all business, but afterwards, he's like a big kid. So, I just wanted to thank you for being on my program, and before I let you go, Cynthia, I'm going to have you record me a personal promo, of course. And if you ever have any new movies coming out, any seminars, please feel welcome to call me up and say, I want to promote this, or, I want to talk about this. So.
Oh, great, yeah. Well, if you get a chance, if you can promote, I think we have like 9 days left on Indiegogo for the Perils of Penelope Peacock. So if you get a chance to give that a push for us, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about it before I let you go, you're more than welcome. So.
Yeah, sure. Well, the movie basically it's a really, really feel-good movie. It's about a woman that is kind of, not feeling good about herself, feels very mousy. She's kind of like, just stays in the house. She doesn't look that great. All she does is think of, taking care of the house and her husband. And then her niece is like that as well, and she watches her niece quite a bit, and the niece her sister kind of does a lot of traveling and it doesn't pay as much attention to the kids. So here you have these two kind of misfits, right? And the aunt dies, and they recover some books that the aunt had, but none of them are finished. And she goes home, and she dreams of finishing the book, right? And it all involves like these incredible fight scenes, like she's like a cowgirl and then a swashbuckler, and then she's fighting aliens on another planet, which, to me, I love that. And as the time goes by, she starts getting more confident, her and the niece, and they start transitioning into more confident people, more outgoing, more self-assured, more loving life. There's a lot more to life, and in the end, you have this transformation between these two people, and I think it's a good moral story. You feel good that, you can make life to your fullest. You don't have to be in a rut. That's not, what we're here for, and it's quite different than anything else I've ever done, and I'm looking forward to actually playing like a mousy person, with glasses and very meek, and then go through the transformation. To me, that is probably, out of everything I've done, the greatest part, that I could play. So this is kind of one of those projects that comes from my heart. And when I read the script, I was like, I love this. I love it, So my hope is that, we can get this project made, that would pull in some big investors, so we could get it. Like, our budget's small. We think, everybody's going to, do it for, almost nothing because, we love it so much, and we think, we could do a really, really nice film.
It's very tough when you have a small budget, but it can be doable, if everybody works together.
You're right, exactly. It can be, and nowadays, the woman that's producing it is also a costume designer, so we have a lot of people involved in it that, love it because of that, and, that it's a good project. So, we're all, hoping and praying that, this project will come about. So if anybody, wants to go on to Indiegogo, the perils of Penelope Peacock. So actually go on my Facebook and click on a link too. I think we have 9 days left. So I don't know if we'll make our budget, but basically whatever we get, we'll keep that, in a kitty, and then try to find an investor, for the rest of it. So.
Yeah, I wish you luck with that too, and please keep me posted on that, because I do enjoy your films, and my whole family enjoys your films as well. So.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad.
But thank you for being on the show,